Hello, my friend. Welcome back to part 3. Uh, in this video, we will checking the styles. Before that, we check types of different HTML elements and their family or categories, mainly block level element, inline block elements, and inline elements. So this is about styles. So now we reach to the point where we want to style our HTML. Before that, like we had like plain on vanilla HTML, everything was white or black, like background is white and text was white or blue, depending on if you have links in it. So now it's time to style those things and have we use CSS for that thing. So first thing is how we can add styles to our pages, and for that you have a few ways. One is inline, and the most popular way is external, like adding external files to your HTML page. And you have two ways to do it. One is with this link tag, another way is to use import directive. Also, you can have in-page styling, and then you have browser styles that we touched before, and then user styles. So, so inline is if I am adding styles directly on a page on the element itself. Like if I have a p tag and I try to make it its color red or its font size a little bit bigger, yeah, and I'm not writing code inside the external CSS files. I'm just touching the element directly using the style attribute. It's called inline styling. Yeah. So let me show you example of it. Just let me zoom out. I have this page here. So you can see there is this element in red. If I double click on it or right click on it, sorry, click inspect, then you see this is this H1 tag. Color is red. It's coming from some external style sheet called imp.css. So what I can do, right click on it, then edit as HTML here, let's assume, and type style attribute, and then what I want to change. Maybe I want to change color to pink. Let's see. And you see it's pink now. If I double click it again, make it editable, make it yellow. So you see, although in external style sheet it's red, now I'm defining this inline style and calling it like changing the color property to yellow. We can do the same thing uh, in our code editor. Like I switch to Visual Studio, and here I want to say color is yellow, background background color is blue. In here I define two properties basically: color of the text and the background color of the element. So H1 have a background color of blue and text color will be yellow. And you can define multiple properties by using this semicolon to separate each property or each rule basically. So here I'm missing something. So now I have this text color yellow and background color blue. Uh, I made a typo here. I didn't type style correctly, and then there was spelling mistake, I think, in background color as well. So now these two are fixed and they are working as intended. And if I come back here and I switch maybe red here, so you can see this is called inline styling. And normally we try to avoid it because again, your presentation is like hard coded in your HTML view or your HTML document, and in future if you want to change it, you have to come here and edit HTML files. So this is almost equal to using that style elements that we touch in our part one, like using p tag, using B tag or I tag for making it italic, like we were using presentation elements, um, just to style our things. So this is kind of equivalent to that, and that's why you want to avoid it. And there are use cases where you want to use it, like there are edge cases. So they are there for use, but don't overuse them. Think about it, and then you have to be very careful where your code is going, so it can be like maintained easily. Uh, so if we go back to our slide, let's touch. Now next is external style sheets. So before external, I think we should. So before inline, I think we should touch. Like before external, we should check in page here. I can open a style element, and here I can define all a style for different elements that are living on this page. For H1, for P tag, let's say P color would be red. I save this thing. I come here, check my page again. Now you see P color is red. So inline, what's the difference? Inline, we are using style attribute on the element. For in page, we define a style, maybe in body, maybe in header. Normally, it's in your head section. So why in why we are using head section? Because heads, this head area is coming to browser before this body. So uh, before even your content loads, this head will come to browser, and if you are loading your style inside head, that means this styling instructions will be available before content comes. So whenever content comes, it will like honor these styles. So your paragraph will have like that color. Now, so this is your inline, this is your in page. Now we can switch to external styling. So external is simple. Let me comment out this thing where in page styling, and then this is your in page. This was your in page styling. So you can see like I have already like external sheet link with this page, and I commented out. Uh, so now I just remove these HTML comments, and now I have this style sheet using this link element. You have link element, then you have a rel attribute that's telling you what kind of linkage we are using. So we are telling browser the it's a style sheet with the type text/css, and then href will here we will be using address of your file, the location of your file. So right now you can see this is my page index.html, and I have two CSS files, link.css and imp.css. Import is short for import. I just write three letters basically. So right now I am only using one CSS here, and since it's directly sitting into same folder, neighbor of this index or sibling of this folder, sibling of index.html. So I just use link.css. No relative or absolute path required. Basically, it's relative, but we are not using any dot slash or dot slash or something like that. Trying to keep things simple here. So if we go inside link.css, here I'm again defining h1 color blue. Yeah. So let's use a very different color. Now it's hard to think about colors. What color I use? Red I use, pink, yellow, blue. Hmm. Until now we didn't use this color. So you can see our we put cyan color and it's not coming here. So why is that? Because we are using the style, we are using color property or color rule inside this style, inside this inline styling basically. And inline styling take priority. So if I remove this color property from here just to show you, and then refresh page, You see, now it's applying the cyan color. So we will check about when CSS rules are overriding each other. But for now, if I just wanted to give you a hint or glimpse of it. Now, if we go back to our code and let's also remove this style completely from here. Yeah. And now uh, there is another way that we can use to link external style sheet. You can use a style attribute again, and then you can use this import directive with that symbol import and then the URL and then import.css, imp.css. So inside imp.css, I have color red. Uh, let's use orange. Come here, refresh. So you see now it's orange. So you can either use this import thing for external style sheet or the link thing, link element. Mostly people use this link element. Now browser styles and user styles. Browser styles we check from like part one and part two when you are not supplying your own thing, your own styles for the elements. Then the default styling that you see in browser, for example, for hyperlinks. Excuse me. Uh, let me give you a dummy link one, and if we can here, check our page, you see link one. This blue thing, I didn't style element until now. I mean this link tag or a tag or a element. So it's blue underline. It is using some different font size and font family. All these stylings comes from browser itself. And this is example of your browser styles. So what are the user styles? Sometime like problem is users may have installed some extensions inside their browsers. Like maybe they have a Facebook extension installed that is changing the font size. So imagine if Facebook is using font size 18 and black color for most of their text, and somehow maybe your eyesight is weak and this font size is not working for you, so you want to override that thing. So you may find some Facebook extension that make text bigger. So even though Facebook developers is writing font size 18 with your extension, you will be overriding that thing, that CSS rule of 18 pixel of font size, and you may have 22 pixels or 32 pixel, whatever are your preferences or your eyesight or your browsing experience or user experience. So those things are called user styles. So now we reach to selectors. Selector is the heart and soul of like when you are learning CSS. There are different type of CSS selectors. And let me full screen for a bit. So selectors, there is a group, there is a class ID, pseudo classes, and these are the example of pseudo classes like a tag when it's already visited. So if it's already visited, you may want to change its color a bit, maybe dim gray or and if it's never visited, maybe it's blue or red, whatever you want to do. And when is you are hovering over it, maybe you want to switch off that underline thing. So user know like there is some interaction going on. These are like small things, but may help the user experience. Now, these pseudo elements can let you help when you want to modify content on the fly. So imagine you have a div tag and you are styling it, and for some reason you want some special characters at the end, added at the end of the content. So you can use pseudo elements for that, and mostly this technique was heavily used to clear out the floats, and you will learning about float and float clearing once we progress to that area. And then there is these things like pseudo elements like p first line. So this p first line means, and there are other examples like first line, first letter, or first letter, something like that. So these things enables you if you want, like just like books or novels, where first letter sometimes, yeah, is like bigger than the rest of the letters and maybe have completely different font family, bit tilted or italics. So you can apply a different styling using the first line. So the whole line, the whole first line of a paragraph would be rendered totally differently than the rest of the lines. And you can apply same thing with first letter. And then there are CSS3 selectors. You don't need to learn which one is CSS2 and CSS3. Since you will be now this point in time, you there is 90 and maybe more than 95% chance you will be working with latest browser. So latest browser do support CSS3. So you don't need to be worried about like using CSS3 selectors or properties that might not work in Internet Explorer 6 or 7 or something like that. So you don't need to learn by heart like which things are coming from CSS2 or CSS1 or CSS3. This universal selector, this is the first of its kind. Yeah. So this set means like you are matching every element, regardless if it's H1, H2, or it's a P tag, or it's a UL or OL. That means like everything. So everything on a page, like imagine you have 1,000 elements in your page, you have a very long page. So those 1,000 elements will be affected by whatever rule you are like putting inside these curly brackets. Since this is the wildcard, it will match everything. And then we have element selector. Element selector means you are using HTML elements and then curly brackets. So here you can see like this is the body element. So whatever I will write in body, between these curly brackets, it will apply to the body tag. So imagine we are saying everything inside body element will be. Now it's a good time to use our uh, external style sheet. So I can go here and type body, and I'm saying everything will be blue. So here I have black, and I can use uh, purple maybe. I refresh this page, and you see expectation was UL, but basically we are changing the LIs. So UL contains these list items inside. So I actually wanted to see, I wanted to change LI. So let's say I come here and I say all these paragraphs will have a background color of, let me see what colors are out there. Maybe brown for some reason. So you see all three are brown. Let's just say this first paragraph, I don't want it brown, I want something else with it here. So what I can do is an important paragraph for me, or so I can apply class attribute on this paragraph and I say you are important. And then in CSS, I'm saying make all the paragraphs with this CSS rules, like make them brown, make them font size a bit smaller, let's say 10 pixels. First save it and check. So you see they become super small. And let's not do that. Maybe make them 12 pixel. Font size 16 pixel to body. So this is one example. I want everything to be bigger. And then paragraph to be 18 pixel. So now everything will get a bigger font size. And I know it's not readable. Font is not to read for now. Yeah. And now we can say all everything that is labeled with class important, make their color, let's say aqua, and font size much bigger, like 26 pixel. Save this thing, and I want to do background color instead of color. So it changes this important thing, and I wanted to apply this class to the first paragraph. So now you see this is taking the aqua background color, and font size is bigger now. So what is this class thing basically? Class can be applied to multiple elements. So I define this important thing. You can have a class that is called copy, and inside attribute, like here, I can make class here important, or and if I can, yep, and then important here as well. So you can repeat your class basically. You can see I applied it on this link tag, this UL element, this first paragraph element, and all these become cyan. So classes can be repeated inside your page, and doesn't matter like if you're applying same class to a p tag or UL, like they can all share same class if you will. And also what you can do, you can apply multiple classes on one element. Let's say it's important and it's a link, or primary, let's say. Now I can come here and I say prime, whatever is primary basically, it will be having a back, it will be font weight will be bold, font style will be italic. So now it will become right. You see it's become a bold and bit italic. I can also do something else like text transform uppercase maybe. So this is another powerful example of CSS. Actual text that Google search engine will read is lowercase. Every alphabet in that word link one is actually lowercase. Yeah, because what or any search engine will see this thing without the style. They are reading your code. That's why it's very important to write meaningful code. So what they will see this lowercase link one. Let me zoom for you a bit. Link one here. But what your user will see due to CSS is all caps. So you can change the lowercase, uppercase to capitalize. First vector is upper and everything else is lowercase. You can modify your content how it appears using CSS, and this is like very powerful. You don't need to go into your HTML page and then type capital letters basically. So this was class selector. Now we can move to ID selector. ID selector are using this pound symbol or hash symbol. The problem, not problem, the basic property of ID. Is let me say now I give an ID attribute, and this is my intro, and another ID, let's say to this UL is, let's call it my navigation. Let's use three characters, nav. And then maybe I have another UL, and this one will have maybe what, list of companies, maybe, yeah, Microsoft. So ID means they should be unique in one page, yeah. So do not, I cannot reuse name again. It should be unique. So I'm assign name to this UL. So that means this name is reserved for this one. And inside CSS, how I can target name or IDs is using this thing, hash symbol and then ID. So now what I'm saying, style anything that is matching this ID name, and what I can do, I can change their uh, text decoration maybe to underline. Yeah. So you see now it becomes underline. So we touched on the ID thing. Now let's say attribute sector. Attribute sector is like this. Uh, Let me define a custom attribute on something. Let's say I have this UL, and you can. There are some attributes that are reserved, like this class attribute, this ID, this href, this rel type, etc. Yeah, like these are part of standards basically. But that doesn't mean you cannot have your own custom attributes. So one example of custom attribute may be a dev name. So I am saying this dev will have a custom attribute dev, and dev is MSA, for example. Browser will not complain about it. It will just render it. Yeah. So you see, here is this dev name thing, this list of companies. So what I can do, we have this syntax. So you can say first element, then we use square brackets, and where dev name was comma, here will be okay. Now I'm running. Maybe I will apply border of 3 pixels solid pink. So you see now there is a border going on, and here on the style section you can see as well 2px solid red, because now it's targeting this based on the attribute as well. Since it's our last rule, our last thing, so it will override all the matching thing above, and but we didn't play with the border until now, so it's a new rule. But let's say if I also want to change that background yellow, so I can apply background color yellow to something like gray. So yellow was coming from this UL element. You can see it here. Also border was coming from UL element, this UL style, and we are overwriting it here with this attribute structure. Now I want to overwrite also the background color, so from yellow to it will become gray. And you can see both rules are like stripes, and they are redefined. Or these two rules from the attribute structure take priority. So this was your attribute structure. Now, what you can do, you can group, you can select using groups. So I can say maybe all the headings will be of same size. So if you remember, if I can enter the H1, I go here and I paste couple of times. 5, R2, R1 is good here. So you see this styling kind of going on. H1, H2, H3, H4, H5. Font size gets lower and lower and lower. So what if we want all these headings to be of same size? So I can write like this: H1, then H2, and then H3, and inside each this element selector or tag selector, I can say font size should be of 32 pixel. Yeah. So I copy this thing, paste here, and then paste here, and then keep going like this. Or better way is in say H2 using comma separated values H3, H4, H5, H6. The font size will be 32 pixel for everything. So you see how they are all taking same font size. So this is example of group selectors. Now combinations, and these are like really important. With combination, what I'm saying, uh, let me modify my HTML a bit so we can have something. I have a tag, yeah. So let's make this Microsoft a link by using a tag array. So this hash inside href attribute means dummy link. It will go nowhere. It will stay on your page. Also, let me remove some of the settings. So now you can see Microsoft is blue because it's a default color. And this a tag also, let me modify a bit. So they both blue and both are underlined, having a line in there. So what we can do, we can say if I come here and say this a tag, so that means like match all the a elements inside the page and style them. But what I want to do, I can say B and then A. So this means this is a combination basically. I'm saying all the elements that are inside P tag, only make them whatever I want to do here, like apply changes or apply styling to all the elements, A elements that are inside a P graph or paragraph, sorry, inside P element. So their color could be red and their text decoration could be none. So if I save this and reload, you see now it becomes red Microsoft and doesn't have an underline because I removed the text decoration thing. If I click on it and inspect, you can see B and A. So these two rules apply on this thing. So this is good if you have something nested, like deep level nesting. Maybe there is an A tag inside the li. So this li could be uh, put that as so book a hotel or room or whatever. You see, I have this element here, and this is blue over here, so I can target only this element inside and li by doing either I can say lia like this, or I can be more specific. UL element inside that UL find li elements, all the li's that are inside UL, and then find all the a inside li. So if we read from here, match all the elements or get me all the elements of type A or A tags inside li, and that li should be inside UL. So there is a nesting going on here, and here I'm saying their color they should have a background color of aqua or orange. Let's say so. You see, I'm targeting only this one by being more specific. So I'm just drilling down UL and then LI and then A. So all the A's inside LI and that LI should be inside a UL. So this was your child first example. Now you have another example where I'm saying this angle bracket that means LI. Let me do one thing here. I can apply a rule like this. I'm saying A should be inside UL. Yeah. If I refresh page, it still works. Why it's working? Because UL is the grandparent of A, because there is a li in between. So that means A should be inside UL. Doesn't I'm not saying directly inside UL. It can be direct child of UL, or it can be like inside 3 level deep. There is an let me show in browser. So you can see A is here is there is a UL, then there is an li as a child, and this li has a tag as a child. Yeah. So inside li, imagine there is a p tag going on, and inside p there is an a. So still this ul space a matches because I'm saying a can be found inside ul anywhere. Doesn't matter it's the first child or the second level child or third level child or fourth level. As long as it's a child of ul, yeah, apply these rules. But what if I'm saying only apply if the first level child or direct child of ul? So you can apply this thing, this angle bracket. And now if I refresh, you see these rules are not applying because it's not a direct child of ul, it's a direct child of li. So if I change this to li, you can see now it's back again. So this is very powerful if you have like building drop downs or navigations or menus. You might want to style direct charge differently and then the grandchildren differently. This is how menus are working, like drop downs or navigation bars you see. So this is really helpful depending on your use cases. Now we have UL plus P. So this plus means siblings, where UL and P are siblings of some parent element. So one example can be, let's say, what we have here. Uh, UL and P Let me put a P here and I say sibling. And that. So this P is taking this pinkish color because we are having line number 22 is assigning this pink color to P tag. So what we can do now to override this thing, we can say UL plus P and also maybe reduce a div here and wrap everything inside that div. So UL plus P is equal to background color red. So now you see it becomes red. And if I go to this div, at this div I have this UL and then this P. If I click on P, so you see UL plus P rule apply on this paragraph. So we are saying give me all the paragraphs uh, this element is sibling of P and this of type UL. So this rule matches because this rule was saying P should be a sibling of UL, should have a sibling that and that sibling should have a type or a of UL of element UL. So this is a perfect match. And then since we have nothing inside this leaf, so these two these two are children of these two are only children of this leaf. So they are like this. They can have only one sibling. So this you will only have one sibling of P type. This P is having only one sibling of U type. If there are more children, doesn't matter. Like we can add one or more here. So if we had inside this UL something like H3, some text, this will still work. Why? Because now this div had three children, but this P is next to a UL. Yeah, it will break, it will stop working if I put H3 here. So you see, our rule cannot apply because now we were saying P should have a sibling UL next to it. But now we are having H3. So either we change our HTML or we change our CSS and say now you are next to an H3. So now it will work again. So these are your combinations, popular combinations basically, and then you will have pseudo classes.